start my inspection from the outside. So as I get suited up, as I'm lighting the smoker, I tend to watch the bees. And if I see them coming in and out, that's usually a good sign. This particular hive has 3 entrances. It's got a top entrance, which I might have blocked off, maybe.
Top entrance.
Yeah, so the top entrance is further away from any critters and whatnot. We can give a puff of smoke into the opening. Just go right up to the opening and puff, puff, puff. Right, we're coming in. This is what we're signaling. That's good. Usually I'll open up the lid and we'll do a couple puffs under there, but we'll get suited up first before we do that. This is good activity for October. I'll come get this.
There's a lot of bees coming in and out there still.
Yeah, it's exciting. Now, the ones that are coming in, usually you can see big sacs of pollen on their leg, right? But I don't see that. The bees should be bringing back something now, but it's not as much as, you know, springtime. So this hive was so nasty earlier in the year. I would be on this side. I would be on this side, and as I'm filling the feeder, the bees are like whoosh. And I'm like, wow, you guys are like hungry or something. Okay, so puff, puff, puff. Notice how I open it away from me towards you. So now, at this time of year, usually we're looking to collapse down the boxes. So we're expecting the queen to lay a little bit less than she has been earlier in the year. I'm hoping to show you all 3 different types of bees, the queen, the worker, and the drone, but it's unlikely that we'll see any drones. The drones have been dragged out by their sisters because they're not useful over the winter. So right now, for all the people at home, we are going to show you what a fall hive looks like. We have 3 boxes, so there should be 28 to 30 frames in here, and I suspect that not all 28 are going to be useful. So if there's an opportunity to drop it down to 2 boxes, that's what we're going to do. If there's more than 20 frames of bees and honey, we're going to leave the 3rd box on, if all that makes sense. Okay, so we go into the hive with a plan. I have an expectation of what I should see in here, and if things are really, really good, then that means there's more food than I anticipate, more bees than I anticipate, and we don't have to add anything exterior.
Okay.
However, usually in the fall, things are less than expected. So usually we'll see lots of varroa mite, we'll see very little growth, we might not be able to find the queen. All that stuff is possible.
Okay.
So I go into the hive with this expectation, and ultimately I am expecting anything in that range.
Okay.
So we're taking off the inner cover. So this is the outer cover. I'm taking that off. I'm going to just place this here like so. And oh, look at that. So already I've detected a mistake, an omission from last time. There was a feeder here, or maybe there was a broken frame. So I've removed that. Okay. If I did that in the height of spring, that would be built out with wax, and it's really quite messy to deal with. So if this was really tight, you got 10 frames in there, getting 1 frame out is sometimes difficult. In this case, we've got lots of extra space because there's only 9 frames in here. This is how the perch works. Okay, so that can hold that. Now we've got tons of space. So, okay.
Am I wrecking it?
Yeah, that's okay. That happens. So with the hive tool, it's a dangerous thing, right? So when scraping wax for a collection, you can scrape the wood. When you're digging and trying to get these out, you can damage the wood. We're just trying to be as gentle with the tools and the frames as possible because we want these to last a long time.
Yeah.
So when this is free and clear, with 2 or 3 fingers, you can grab the ends of the frame and pull upwards, trying to keep it vertical. Woohoo, that's fairly heavy, is it not?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, so now, to see what's on the other side, watch what, and mirror what I do, okay? We're gonna keep the frame as vertical as possible.
Okay.
Okay, then we're gonna get one end over the other, and then we're gonna flip it and louver it like a Venetian blind.
Oh, in front?
Yeah. Now you can see your side.
Ooh.
Okay, so what you didn't see on your side, you saw no wax being built, right? You don't even have this stuff, right? But on this side, you got full honey. Right? This is like almost nothing. This is drawn comb, so the bees have actually added wax. So these cells are now ready for the queen to lay eggs, for the bees to bring in honey or nectar, or for them to deposit pollen. This is now usable by the bees.
I see.
So we don't want this. We have this at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
We have this halfway through the year.
Yeah.
And then we have this at the end of the year.
Oh, beautiful.
That's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So that is probably 3 pounds of honey right there.
Cool.
Right. Which will be the bees' food.
Yeah.
So
Okay, this is heavy.
they were very. How long can you hold it like that?
I don't want to hold it with more fingers.
Okay.
I have 2 fingers holding it.
So if you use, let me just take the weight off.
Okay.
So if you use more fingers,
Yeah.
so the hive tool often gets in the way, right? But I like your style of holding it. Most people put down the hive tool, and it just means you have to pick it up again. So I like holding the hive tool while I'm holding it. So use as many fingers as you need. Relax your shoulders and bend your elbows, and that makes it a little bit easier. So in the past, I have handled frames like this. So I want to see what's on the other side. So I'd flip it, right? And then bees would fling off and honey would be flipping all over the place. This way, by keeping things vertical, it's actually a better practice,
Okay, this
in
is
my
the
opinion.
cutest thing ever.
Yeah?
Yes.
So on this side, what I've got
Wow.
is a little bit of nectar.
The black?
Then the liquid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I see
So the
liquid on
capped
this,
the
too.
capped area is the nectar that is now honey.
Okay.
So it's now preserved as honey. Okay. So we're not seeing brood, we haven't seen the queen. So in terms of the assessment of the hive, they've been very productive. So I think, I'll look at this video a little bit later, but I think those are deposits of sugar.
Deposits of like
Is that
fondant.
common?
I think so.
What's the dark? Why does it change to dark?
So that is, okay, so you're talking about,
Like the dark parts.
so there's dark parts in the middle,
It's on this next one too. I think.
right? And then light parts on the
Yeah.
edges.
Yeah.
So that is the amount of wax that you're seeing.
The
So
dark
it's
is.
it's a little bit thinner where it looks dark, but it's,
Oh, I
all
see.
the honey is the same color.
It'll go lighter.
If
Maybe?
they put on an extra couple layers,
Okay.
yeah, but it might stay that color. So this is also what can happen in the hive. So your side is beautiful and flat and 100% full. On my side, I've got a little bit of waviness, so the wax is a little bit uneven,
Yeah.
but that just means there's more honey in there. Yeah, so six frames of honey, probably 6.5, 6 to 6.5 frames of honey, which is pretty good. So we'll just mentally track that, right? And we still have 2 boxes to go. So now that box 3 is out of the way, we are going to reassemble the hive. I like to keep as much of the existing hive in order as possible. So ergonomics is definitely part of the initial planning. If this wasn't the only spot, I would not put a beehive here.
Okay.
So, for a number of reasons. So, let's see if we can pry out this feeder, and that will give us our space. To a very discriminatory eye, you'll see that this is not totally square. You'll see that over time, these have separated,
Okay.
and the bees have actually wedged it
Oh wow.
with propolis and wax. So they've sealed what they can in terms of cracks, but because this is not square, this feeder is slipping down on one side. So we have a little bit of a job in getting this out. Wherever there's more than bee space, which is only 3/8 of an inch, the bees will build something. So watch out, all you bee architects. So these bee inspections are loaded with always things to do, things to prep, things to think about.
Oh.
These don't always follow the same books that we want. Not everything can be like frame 5 here, where it's fully coated with honey on both sides and it's maxed out and it weighs whatever, 7 pounds. This one, they started to form some wax and are continually working it. So if there's a candidate for a frame to be removed, that's probably one of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, now what do you see? Lots of bees. What do you see in the open spaces? Maybe a little bit of pollen. Is there some multicolored stuff there?
Yeah.
Okay, so the multicolored stuff is pollen. So that is that. Once that ferments a little bit, that's called bee bread. That will be part of their pollen protein source. Whereas the nectar will continue to be honey. On this side, we've got even more pollen. Look how beautiful that looks. And do you see the benefits of having the sun at your back? So in terms of
You can see.
visibility,
Yeah.
so that's one of the disadvantages on this side, right? This side, I actually have to turn sideways to get the light optimal. So time of day for your inspection should be not necessarily at dawn, because the angle of light is very very flat, so you don't get a great view of your hive. Plus, all the bees are home, right? Because they're not quite warmed up yet. But peak of day around 12 noon is ideal. 10 to 2 if you can manage it. But again, I'm flexible with it because not everyone's available to look at their hive from 10 to 2, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes they have to look after work.
Yeah.
The closer you are to dusk, the harder the light is to see. But that's
And the bee temperament, like that would be times 2
yeah,
as well.
good question. Bee temperament can vary, but a lot of them during the day are not home. They're out foraging. So the idea, again, is to move confidently without recklessness. All right, now we've got something. So, what do you see on your side?
Like a dark coating, like
Okay.
wax.
Yeah.
Looks kind of.
So I think what you're seeing is something different than honey. So I believe that's brood. Okay, excellent, excellent frame. Okay, so let me take that from you.
Yeah.
And I'll point out a few things for you and the folks at home in YouTube land. Okay, so this is the side that you pulled up, right? So what we've got here, this is brood. So these, one's coming out right now.
There's a couple of them I see coming out.
Okay,
Oh,
so this is
cool.
literally day 21 of these bees. So these are worker bees
So the one right there in the
because
middle.
they're relatively flat. Okay, if they were punched out like the tips of fingers, like more pronounced horizontally, they would be drones. But we won't see any drones at this time of year. Very unlikely. So these are all workers, and there were workers here, but they've already hatched out. So this is an area that we call the hatch out area. Day 21, these ones are about to be hatched out, and then this is actually honey. So you see the difference between brood and honey? It's very subtle, but it is relatively flat. Okay, and it's definitely not peanut shaped. So a queen would be punched out this way and almost look like it would be it would come out and down. Now, because we're seeing brood, this is the first frame we've seen with brood. We can start now looking for the queen. She's very unlikely to be on the honey frames,
Okay.
but anywhere where there's brood, that the queen has been. So about 3 weeks ago, she was here. Now, ideally, these empty cells would
be.
also be filled with new eggs.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Okay.
Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Are you thinking we're crazy for doing this?
No.
Okay.
It's fun. I'm just in a little zone.
Be in the zone. That's what we want. We want to be in the bee zone. So this is, brood.
Ooh.
Hallelujah, queen. Okay, so now all of these are female worker bees. If you happen to see one that's a little bit longer, perhaps a little balder on the back, and with a bit more of a slender abdomen, you probably will see the queen. Now we've got a couple of cells that are not good. We've got that slumped brood, like you showed me before.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little bit problematic. So that's some dry,
Dried up
brood.
like
Yeah, so those may not
some
be viable.
skeletons almost.
Yeah. So those will be cleared out by the bees, but the rest of it is flat, soon to be worker bee. What did I see? On your side, I think I saw at the very bottom a queen cup. So earlier in the year. So
Oh
just-
yeah, I seen one of those in the last one too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's down here.
Yep.
Just want to point that out.
Where did I just see it?
It's right there.
There, yeah.
Bees on
Okay,
right now.
so
yeah.
there's nothing in it, but at some point the hive may have thought, that they're either going to replace the queen or prepare for a swarm, which is 2 instances where a queen would be needed, a replacement queen would be needed. So let me hand that back to you. So right now we've got 1 empty frame, 1 frame of honey, 2 frames of brood. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So the brood is an excellent sign that there's a queen. So even if we don't see the queen, we know that she's laying. So you've got a little bit of funky development going on, right?
Yeah, what?
There's a weird
So,
structure
yeah.
there.
So sometimes the bees, again, don't do exactly what we say. They make their own formations.
Cool.
So could it have something to do with,
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it, kind of. Anyways,
Do you want it?
It's pretty funky.
now you can see the column like, right there.
Have you interacted with bees before? Or is this the
like
first time?
in my garden.
Right. But never in a beehive?
No.
This is your first time?
Yeah.
Excellent. And you're totally cool with it?
Yep.
Awesome. Is this a queen? Is this a frame that the queen is likely to be on? Is there more brood or more honey?
More honey. What are we saying? The like not honey. The
nectar.
like,
Pollen?
nectar.
Yeah.
Nectar, yeah.
Yeah, we got a little nectar.
Yeah. So you're just
Not
getting
much
familiar with
honey,
the
more brood.
terminology and what all those things look like. So this is a pretty empty frame,
Yeah.
actually. Very good. Have you noticed the non-visual parts of the hive?
Non-visual.
Yeah. The smell, the sound.
I love the sound.
Does it smell like honey?
It smells sweet.
Does it smell yeasty?
I don't smell yeast.
Smell flax?
It just smells like clean. Like it smells like clean.
Right. I can live with that. But not sanitizer clean.
Not sanitizer.
Right, it
clean,
smells like
no,
life.
Like a yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so recap for me. I think last time we had like 6 frames of honey, right?
And just that, pretty much. Just the 6 frames of honey.
All right. This one we had 3 frames of brood and maybe 2 frames of honey. Okay. We'll be consolidating this, and I think this box is going away. I think. Okay. I'll probably use that box and a number of these frames, but I think we have 13 usable frames,
For honey.
so it's going to be hard to get into one box. Good luck to us. So let's see the next box.
Then would you ever like wait? Keep it like that?
There's not that many inspections left this year.
Okay. Could you replace the like ones with lots of honey with empty?
At this time of year, I'm looking to condense the boxes.
Okay.
Yeah,
You just
I don't
really
want
wanna
to
make
add
it
any
smaller.
boxes. If I'm adding boxes, it's springtime, and the bees are growing faster than the boxes allow. In this case, we expect the bees to reduce their population.
And why do we want smaller space for them when there's a reduced population?
Yeah, so when it's winter, the bees shouldn't have to warm a 5-box chimney, right? It's brutal, especially as their numbers are reducing. So the smaller the space, the better kept the bees will be, because they have less to manage.
Gotcha. So it's partially a maintaining the hive in the winter thing and partially a heat thing?
It's what the bees would naturally do.
Okay.
They just occupy less space.
It's a light one.
Okay. Okay, so that's a candidate for being ousted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just
One.
wax.
Let's put it over here.
Okay.
That'll give you lots of space. Just put it in at an angle. Excellent.
You want to pull that one out?
No, you can pull it out.
Okay.
Part of my goal is to get you very comfortable around lifting up the frames and whatnot.
There's some food storage on the side.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of pollen. Not muchy.
Not much.
Okay. There's a fair number of bees, but we want to. We're gonna jam pack them all into one box, maybe 2. Okay, we've got varroa mites.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How do you know?
There's just a bunch of them on here. You can see
At
them.
least they're dead. Okay, so I'm going to consolidate. I think this box is okay. Last frame.
Okay.
A little bit of honey.
Yep.
But in this case, I'll put all the empty frames and the feeder
In the top box.
in the top box. Just for now, and then on my last inspection of the year,
You'll remove it.
I will remove it.
Okay.
Look how flexible that box is. That's crazy. Okay, that box is definitely going away. Those frames that are down on the perch can be dropped back in. They're all empty basically. I'm going to just pour that feeder. Oops. Don't need a hive tool right now.
Nope. Pour into this feeder.
Yep.
All around it.
Yep. Oh, silly bee. All right. Thank you very much for watching what hopefully was a very helpful instructional type of video for closing up your hive and getting ready for the next season. So as we're transitioning out of really warm weather to the coming cold weather, those are some of the items that you should be thinking about. We really appreciate you watching and checking out bcbeesupply.ca, and we hope to see you next time.